According to Printify, in the year 2023, print on demand as an industry crossed $8 billion in sales. That number, according to Printful, is going to increase to $39 billion per year by the year 2031. I am currently running 2 print on demand stores. This one here started on April 17th. 34 days later, it has crossed $5,000 in sales. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you why I'm not selling t-shirts on Amazon or using Printful or selling products on Etsy. I have been selling print on demand products since 2016, and what a lot of people don't realize is that in the year 2024, the best way to create a sustainable income from a print on demand store is not by selling on those platforms. Most print on demand tutorials will walk you through getting accepted by Amazon merch so you can sell t-shirts there. And a lot of others have said to start listing items on Etsy, even though we now have well over 8 million Etsy sellers on there already. The way that I sell print on demand products is becoming quite popular. What I'm talking about is selling products on Shopify and using the power of social media to actually make sales. This is something I recently hosted a 2-week mentorship for Printify about. If that sounds like something you want to learn more about, I have a free course. It's called POD for Dummies. It has over 30 videos inside of it to show you how to set up your store in a day and start marketing products on social media for free. The 3 ways of selling print-on-demand items are actually quite different, and before we break them down, I want to share with you what I think the ideal print-on-demand business looks like. For me, it's something that has a high long-term potential. I want to make sure that any time I am investing will create a sustainable income over the long term. I also want to make sure that whatever I'm doing with print-on-demand has a quick and high rate of return. I'm not trying to wait around and be patient and wait for the algorithm to bring me sales. I also want to make sure that my results are not tied to the amount of time that I am actually investing into the business. I also want my print-on-demand business to allow me to sell high-profit print-on-demand items to the best niches. And lastly, I want to own it. I don't want to be at the mercy of some platform with the ability to shut me down without warning. And if those 5 things sound like what you want to get out of your print-on-demand business, then today's video is definitely for you. To break down these 3 platforms, we will review what the strategy for success would look like on each of the platforms. This will help us to see which one lines up the most with our ideal print-on-demand business. If you're selling on Merch by Amazon or using Etsy in general, you're going to want to choose low competition niches so that way you can avoid saturation. The reason for this is because on Amazon, if you wanted to sell in a really high potential niche, there's already hundreds of thousands of other listings out there selling similar designs in the niche that you wanted to sell in. The same thing is true for Etsy. There are literally hundreds of thousands of listings across all of the best niches, which is why you see a lot of people when it comes to selling on Shopify, the opposite is true. You are going to want to find the best niche possible to try and sell products to. This is because you are building your own store. You're not listing items on a platform with hundreds of thousands of other people. Another major part of success on Merch by Amazon and Etsy is to sell products that people are searching for, typically low profit items like t-shirts, mugs, or stickers. Right here are the estimated royalties for t-shirts if you're selling on Amazon, and you can see that depending on your sales price of the item, the amount of profit that you actually make is quite low. With Shopify, the goal is to choose an assortment of different products with a focus on the highest profit items. Companies like Printify have dozens of really amazing and high profit print-on-demand products for us to sell. The problem is if you're listing these on a place like Etsy or even on Amazon, there's not a lot of people out there that are searching for these things. These products typically sell when people see them and buy on an impulse, which we'll talk about more as we go through the video. Another major part of success with Amazon or Etsy is to spend time every day creating dozens of designs to stay relevant. People that teach about Etsy typically will recommend you to create as many designs as possible. The goal is to basically flood the market with tons of different designs across lots of different niches, and ultimately that is going to take a lot of time. With Shopify, sometimes less is more. We don't need as many designs to succeed with the Shopify store as you would selling on Amazon or selling on Etsy. Another part of success with Merch by Amazon or with Etsy is to just keep uploading on a daily basis, so that way the algorithm will help people to find your products. Basically, it's just a never-ending cycle of creating new designs. With Shopify, once you build your store, your time is spent using social media to grow a following and get traffic to your store. You don't have to keep growing the product catalog to an infinite amount of designs.
Joe, in your opinion, does Etsy make it a lot easier for new sellers who especially need to focus on having those winning products as opposed to doing that on a standalone store?
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's way easier on Etsy. That's a given, but we're, ultimately here talking about what's the best strategy, right? We're not looking for the easy strategy, in my opinion. If uploading 200 designs to Etsy, like for example, as a marketplace was a great strategy, then we would all still spend our time doing the same thing with places like Redbubble or Teespring and Cafe Press and, all these other platforms that have existed over the years. And, no shade to them or anything, but they're not here anymore. If we were, doing Amplified 4 years ago, whoever was sitting there would be from a different platform. And someone over here would be arguing about brands. This is a timeless strategy. In the year 2019, there was less than 2 million Etsy shops. That number's over 6 million now. I'll admit that selling on Amazon and listing products on Etsy is easy. But like I said in that clip from the Printify Amplified event last year, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a great strategy for selling print-on-demand products. And like I said earlier, if we're going after these things on the screen right now, tirelessly uploading products on Amazon or on Etsy might not actually get us there. Because long-term, you're going to have assets. That time's going to give you an ROI. If you put 6 months of time into an Etsy shop or a Redbubble shop or whatever it is, after 6 months, you're going to have a marketplace shop. 6 months of a brand, you're going to have an asset. That's a website, that's an email list, that's a social media page with followers that ultimately could be sold. I have sold print-on-demand stores in the past. I'm not saying everybody here has to do that, but you have an asset. And that is something that I think is a tremendous value for the brand-based side. And if we're looking at articles like this that say that in 2023 we did $8 billion in sales in the print-on-demand world, and articles like this here that show that by the year 2031 we're going to have $39 billion in sales per year, it is my personal opinion that those sales and that massive increase that we are going to see is not going to come from even more people selling t-shirts and mugs and other products on Etsy, but instead from people building their own brands and using the power of social media to actually sell their products. And if this is the first time you are hearing some of the things that I am saying in the video today, and you also share the same ideal print-on-demand business idea as me, which is on the screen right now, and you don't want to be at the mercy of a print-on-demand platform like Etsy or Amazon, and you want to create something that truly gives you long-term value, I want to show you some examples of what I am actually talking about. This is a store that I recently showcased here on the channel. They do a great job selling some pretty common merchandise. They've carved out their own little space for themselves, and they've really created an epic print-on-demand brand. Down at the bottom, you can see that they have over 1,400 photo reviews, which means they've likely made a lot of sales. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video as well, if you want to go through some training showing you how to actually build a Shopify store, I do have a free course. It is called POD for Dummies. Inside is over 30 videos showing you how to get started in one day and start selling your products on social media. A lot of people make building a Shopify store sound like an advanced coding operation, but really what we're doing here is we're basically just dragging and dropping to create a very simple but nice and clean looking print-on-demand store. This is exactly what I demonstrate inside of my free course. I've helped tons of people to build stores like this.
His online course has helped his students collectively earn over $5 million in sales.
This is an article that I refer to a lot from Forbes. At the top, they predict that by the year 2026, there will be almost $3 trillion in sales on social media. The article then continues on and says that consumers are not actually using social media just to socialize, and that they're actively using social media as a search engine to find and purchase niche products. It says that consumers can't buy from businesses that they can't find. And that is the exact way that I am selling print-on-demand items, by going directly to people so they can find and purchase my niche products on social media. And one of the easiest ways to begin making sales for free on social media is exactly what this account is doing here. You can see that they have a nice mix of comedy type content with memes, as well as lots of different pictures of the merchandise that they are actually selling. This store has grown to almost 5,000 followers, and ultimately they are likely doing quite well. I've also been making videos here on my channel documenting how I've grown this store to over $5,000 in sales in just 34 days. I do have an entire playlist here on my channel where I show all of that. The primary ways that I have been making sales is both with Facebook ads and with YouTube and Instagram influencers. These are examples of people that have promoted my products on their YouTube channels and on their Instagram accounts. The fact is that there are tons of buyers out there for you to find on social media. You just need to get your products in front of them. As I showed you you in that Forbes article, this is a booming way to sell products online, and influencer marketing is the key for me being able to grow this store to the level that I have so fast. When it comes to ads, every single ad that I launch starts as a $1 engagement ad inside of Facebook. These are ads that you can use to test products out. After that, you can start simple $5 sales campaign ads. These are ads that are designed to actually make sales, and the big myth about using ads on social media is that you need to have hundreds and hundreds or even thousands and thousands of dollars to get started. Every single ad that I launch starts at just $1 per day. If you want me to make a full video documenting some of the things that I do with ads, type the word $1 ad down in the comments below. This is a massive subject and not really something I wanted to do in its entirety inside of this video today, but if you want me to show you how I actually launch ads and some of the things that I look at, I will make a video like that. My ideal print-on-demand business, like I said, is one that gives me a high rate of return over the long term. I don't want my results to be tied to time, and I want to own it. Using Shopify to build my print-on-demand brand is something that allows me to achieve all of that. When I look at these strategies for success for all of the different print-on-demand platforms, again, the one that is most in line with those 5 things is selling on Shopify. I don't want success with my print-on-demand business to be based on my ability to outrank people in search results, especially if the best niches out there have over 100,000 people selling in them. I also don't want to build my entire business on a platform that could just shut me down with no warning. I want to create something that over the long term will have value. Building your own brand and using social media is something that ultimately will become an asset. I have sold a few print-on-demand stores in the past, and that is because over time I was able to create something of value. And of course, I'm not saying that if you wanted to sell on Etsy or if you wanted to sell on Amazon, you would be destined to fail. I'm just saying that if you look at what I think the ideal print-on-demand business is, those platforms don't really line up with that. Yes, Shopify does cost some money. It has a subscription fee. They have a $1 trial that you can start. Yes, doing ads will cost you $1 or $5 per day, but ultimately, the most important part is your ability to create a best-selling item. If you have that ability and you start selling on Amazon or on Etsy, you're going to be limited by a lot of the things that I talked about today. If you're building your own store and you're creating great products that people will actually pay for, your ceiling is much higher, meaning ultimately you're not going to have the limitations of constantly trying to reinvent your product catalog to stay relevant in search results. You're simply just going to build an awesome print-on-demand brand. And like I said, that's what I am in the process of doing. I currently have 2 different print-on-demand stores. This one started on April 17th, and we are now over $5,000 in sales just 34 days later. So let me know your thoughts. Have I made any sense today? Do you think I'm stupid, or do you agree with me? If you do agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know as well. I'd love to discuss it with you down in the comments below. And like I said a few times, if you want some help with all of this, I do have the free POD for Dummies course. Inside is over 30 videos to help you to get started. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.